The 2018 Hyundai i30 was launched this week in Australia, with Hyundai Australia calling it the most stylish, strongest, best equipped and technologically savviest i30 yet. The reimagined i30 easily sets a new premium small car benchmark. That's a big statement even by usual car marketing standards. The i30 is an important car for Hyundai Australia. It's the brand's best seller here, with Australia one of the key markets for i30 around the world. It fights to be heard in the small car segment, which, despite all of the noise around SUV sales, is still the biggest segment of the new car market. And Australia is also an important market for Hyundai, contributing around 30% of global volume. Just let that sink in for a moment. 30% of all Hyundai i30s are sold in Australia. Wow! What is it? This is the third generation Hyundai i30. The first generation was launched in 2007, the second in 2011 and the third generation right now. Practical Motoring has already run a first drive of the new i30 from our Paul Horrell, but there's a key difference between the cars he drove and the ones I've driven this week. And that is, Australian i30s, indeed all Australia-delivered Hyundais, get tweaked suspension and steering to suit Australian conditions. The new i30 is the first Hyundai to show off the new look cascading grille, which, as Hyundai's European design boss, Thomas Bjerkel, said at the local launch, is intended to look like molten metal being poured out. He also waxed lyrical about the thirsting bonnet and the bobtail rear and the shape and shadows cast through the car's shoulder line, giving it volume. And he's right. And then there's the tailgate that's modelled off the Tucson's rear, something you'll only notice after someone's told you about it. All you really need to know, though, is that this new car looks more premium than the old one. And, I'd go so far as to suggest, it's the most convincing meeting of East and West design to come out of Hyundai, although it's probably line ball with the Tucson, which is one of the best-looking cars on the road, in my humble opinion. Beyond the sharp new styling, the new i30 is 40 mm longer than the old car, 15 mm wider and 15 mm lower through the roof line. And that's something, according to design boss, Thomas Bjerkel, that received pushback from the engineers who wanted the roof line higher to create more headroom. I'll come back to this shortly. Pricing for the new i30 starts at $20,950 plus ORC for the entry-level manual active variant, rising to $23,450 plus ORC for the manual diesel active, rising to $28,950 and $33,950 plus ORC for the diesel-powered elite and premium variants. The petrol-powered manual SR variant lists from $25,950 and the senior premium is $33,950 plus ORC. What's the interior like? Starting with the boot, the i30 SR gets a dual-floor boot which offers 395 liters of storage space with a space saver beneath. A full-size spare is available as an extra cost accessory, but pricing wasn't available at the time of the launch. Obviously, adding a full-size spare will rob some room from the boot, but it would mean you wouldn't have to drop items down into the boot, creating minimal boot lip. All other variants offer a single-floor boot with space saver beneath. Fold down the 60/40 split fold seats, which is easily done via levers on the outside edge of the rear seats, and the boot grows to 1301 liters. The seats don't fold down flat, and if you've gotten straight in with the dual floor you'll have one section lower than the other, although this is easy to fix, by raising the floor to its highest setting. Moving into the back seats proper, and they're well shaped, the two outboard seats, anyway. I made sure I traveled in the back for a section of the drive and felt comfortable with good head, leg, shoulder and elbow room. I mentioned earlier the engineers wanted to raise the roof while the designers wanted it lowered. The designers won, but you wouldn't know it. I'm as close to 6 foot tall as you can get and I had plenty of room in the back. The entry-level Active misses out of rear air vents, as does the SR, but elite and premium variants all get rear air vents, which in our climate is a handy feature. For those with kids, there are SOFIX anchor points on the 2 outboard seats and high-mounted top tethers for all 3 seat positions. The rear door openings are nice and big and the hip point is highish too, making it easy to slide in and out of the back seat without running the risk of smacking your head either on the way in or out. Moving to the front of the i30, and the cloth seats in the entry-level Active are comfortable and supportive. See pictures above of the blue car. Stepping up to the SR, and the seats are swathed in leather and add a little more side bolstering to keep you in place when cornering, not that you slide around in the entry-level seats. The design of the dashboard has moved from a Y-shaped dash on the old car that tended to pull your eye into the middle of the car and actually made it feel a little small inside, to one that's spread out horizontally, and with the infotainment screen and climate controls pushed up higher. It all helps to create a sense of there being more room than in the old car, design trickery at its best. There's one infotainment screen across the range, and it's an 8-inch unit that runs the latest generation of Hyundai's infotainment system and offers both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. But the standard system offers native sat-nav, which is excellent and fast to reroute even when you try and purposely trick it, like I did on a launch drive around Albury, NSW. There are 2 cup holders in the front, 2 12V, 1 USB, and 1 O outlet, S, in the front with a deep storage bin that'll easily hold a smartphone. There's also wireless charging, which only works with some smartphones. Hyundai said its accessories team is working on development of an iPhone case to allow wireless charging. The fit and finish, and materials used in the new i30, no matter the variant, are a cut above their equivalent in the previous generation cars. That's in no small part down to the fact Hyundai has nabbed an ex-Bugatti materials expert to tweak the materials and feel of the surfaces in its cars, and she worked on the new i30. What's it like on the road? I spent time in the entry-level Active with 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, DCT, and straight-in with 6-speed manual, and an Elite with a diesel engine and DCT. The 2.0-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine is a carryover from the old car and offers up 120 kilowatts at 6,200 RPMs and 203 Nm of torque at 4,700 RPMs. The 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine is exclusive to the SR Senior Premium and makes 150 kilowatts at 6,000 RPMs and 265 Nm of torque from 1,500 to 4,500 RPMs, and the 1.6-liter turbocharged diesel makes 100 kilowatts at 4,000 RPMs and 280 Nm of torque from 1,500 to 3,000 RPMs, manual, and 300 Nm from 1,750 to 2,500 RPMs for the DCT. All engines are Euro 5. All 3 engines are excellent with enough grunt for overtaking and flattening hills, but the turbocharged petrol in the SR is a pretty sweet power plant with a good strong spread of torque that allows it to pull strongly from low RPM even when you find yourself in too high a gear. Indeed, this engine lineup shows up the shortcomings of some of this car's key competitors, which only offer 1 engine and 1 transmission. Our Paul Horrell has already previewed the i30 in its UK trim, but our cars offer a different state of tune for both the suspension and steering. Indeed, the local ride and handling team experimented with 208 different damper settings, 13 different spring sets and 7 anti-roll bars. The steering has also been tweaked with a faster rack offering 2.57 turns lock-to-lock, down from more than 3 in OS cars. And it makes a big change to the way the car rides and handles. A very big change. The roads we got to drive across offered the sort of variety Australians across the country will be familiar with, from smooth highways to twisting but well-surfaced back roads, to rougher surfaces with nasty potholes and big body compression moments on dips in the road. And the i30, in all trim levels, ate up the roads, displaying excellent body control through corners, good turn and grip through the front end and the ability to absorb mid-corner bumps without jolting through the cabin. And one of the clever things is that all variants but the SR get a torsion beam bum. The SR gets a multi-link rear end, yet the ride and handling characteristic across the range is almost identical. That said, the 18-inch alloys on the SR models do give that car a more planted feel mid-corner. The i30's competitors would do well to be nervous, as this new i30 easily outrides and handles just about every car in the class. Yes, it's that good. In the entry-level and diesel variants, the brake pedal felt nice and progressive, while the SR, which still stopped very well, seemed to have a bit of slack in the top of its travel before it grabbed. The transmissions, both manual and DCT, are easy to use and feel well matched to the engines they're backed onto. The manual in the SR brings that car to life, allowing the driver to get properly involved in the doings of the car. Although, so torquey is the engine, you won't need to swap cogs too often to get the best out of the thing. What about safety features? The new i30 hasn't been tested yet by either Euro NCAP or ANCAP, but it gets a solid safety package across the range, with all models getting Hyundai's Active Safety Package, Smart Sense. This package, which includes autonomous emergency braking, blind spot detection, driver attention alert, lane change assist, rear cross traffic alert and smart cruise control, will also be available for the entry-level Active variant later this year, meaning every variant of i30 will have a comprehensive active safety package that will mark it out as unique in its segment. Beyond Smart Sense, the i30 offers reversing camera with dynamic guidelines, tire pressure monitoring and parking sensors front, premium only, and rear parking sensors across the range. The range also offers airbags covering the front and rear, ISOFIX, seatbelt reminders and more. Why would you buy one? Well, the 5-year warranty with unlimited kilometers is probably a good enough reason for many people, but beyond that, the new i30 is a good looker with room for a family inside, offers all the up-to-date connectivity you could need, is easy and fun to drive, and has a great active safety system which will eventually cover the full range. The entry-level Active will be the big seller of the range, and buyers will get a lot of car for their money, and one that's good fun to drive too.